Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Event 3 of Season 2 of the National Equipment League. I'm Commissioner Bill Elverman.
And I'm Jessica Klein.
And we're here today with an exciting event. You might remember in Season 1 we played a game of pickup sticks with the Hyundai CTL. Today we're going to take the Hyundai CTL matched with a pair of Blue Diamond nursery forks. And I'm an old landscaper by trade. We've built a retaining wall challenge here. It's going to be timed. What you're going to see is our competitors are going to be given 7 minutes. The goal is to complete it in under 7 minutes. Each competitor is going to take the nursery forks and stack the boulders in tiers as if it's a retaining wall. 4, 3, 2, and 1. If you complete in under 7 minutes, you've completed the challenge and you will be ranked based on your time. If you time out before the 7 minutes are over, you will be ranked by the number of boulders that you got in place when we hit 7 minutes. In talking with the competitors, it's more of a complex challenge than you'd think it is. There's different strategies on which rocks you take first, how much of the dirt wall you use to brace the rocks. I think we're gonna see different strategies here, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. And without further ado, our first competitor, based on the rankings of the last event, is Chris GUINS, Mr. Let's Dig 18. Let's see how Chris does on this challenge. From the Hyundai Product Center in Carnesville, Georgia, we're ready to start. Chris, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3, and go! So let's see what Chris's strategy is. Is he gonna grab larger boulders first? He's grabbing a long, thin boulder. Looks like he'll build a base out of flat rock, which is a strategy.
Smart, it's nice and smooth, easy to set stuff on top.
If you were doing this commercially, you'd start aesthetically with a larger boulder, but we're not doing this commercially. We're not rock structures. Yeah. The other interesting thing he's doing here in those Blue Diamond nursery forks, you can work them a couple of different ways. He's placing the rocks lengthwise, perpendicular to the wall versus parallel to the wall. Again, that's not going to be an aesthetically pleasing retaining wall, but for the sake of meeting this challenge, it will accomplish the task.
Absolutely. Well, and it gives a larger structure for boulders on the second and third layer to rest on, so
Yep.
smart.
Yeah, Chris told me in warm-ups that he wasn't even using the wall structure behind the rocks. He was freestanding the rocks, so we'll see how that plays out for him.
That's an interesting second row block there, that big one. How are you gonna set something on there?
I am going to tell him he needs the far one there to be touching the one next to it. Well, I'm going to let it go. I'm going to let that go. I see what he's doing. I'm okay with it. That Hyundai HT100B works really well with those Blue Diamond nursery forks. Blue Diamond, a partner sponsor of ours here again in Season 2. Take, Chris! Chris! I'm gonna need this up just a bit.
That doesn't work.
That's the danger of freestanding them.
That big boulder, that first one he placed on that second row, it's causing problems.
I think that's the right choice to start over. He's not going to be happy with that. He's not going to be happy with me, but Chris picked the path of the freestanding wall, and I'm okay with it. But I'm going to hold him to it. And there he is. He's got it. He's back on track now. That cost him a little bit of time.
Yeah. Oh,
And
no.
there's again, that's why you use the wall. Disaster for Chris GUINS. Chris is gonna freshen up here and start over.
Well,
Yeah.
how do we compromise that?
Well, you still got 2 minutes.
2 minutes to stack everything back up?
Yeah.
Well, might as well try.
2 minutes to stack everything back up. He's gonna give it a whirl. Part of the disadvantage of going first, right?
Part of the disadvantage of going first, and again, not using that wall to your benefit. Chris coming to us out of North Carolina. Again, if you know Chris runs one of the best YouTube channels in the construction industry. And he's being sponsored here this week at the National Equipment League by our friends at NED. We got 4, we got 3. Let's see if he can get 2 and 1 in the next 30 seconds. We're at 6:30.
All right, Mr. Let's Dig 18, tell me about it.
Well, it just didn't quite go as planned now, did it?
It finished nice though, and you gave it.
I gave it my all.
You
right
kept
there.
going.
And that's all it takes is one rock to go, sideways or over the back, and you're done.
Yeah, well, you went first. You showed everybody how to do it. Struggled with a couple of them. I think you did a nice job. You got it stacked. Missed one at the end there, but I think you did good.
Yeah, I gave it my best. So there we go.
All right, sounds good. Up next is Mike Simon, Dirt Perfect. So we'll see how he takes this up.
We're here with Let's Dig 18. We have a new metric that we've not had as a score before. Because you hit 7 minutes, your score is 9 rocks.
Yeah.
9 rocks. We're gonna see if Mike can do. What do you think Mike's gonna do here?
I think he's going to learn from my mistakes.
He's
if he
gonna
was
learn
paying
from your
attention.
mistakes?
Yeah.
All right, Mike, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3, go! So what was your, Chris, when you attacked this, what was your strategy? How did you?
My method was to go with the big, long, flat one first, and then stack the big one up there that's gnarly, and go from there. But I was going vertical and not putting them against the slope. So what ended up happening was I lost one, and I couldn't ever get it back.
So you were really going for speed.
Yeah.
And hoping that the height stacking would help you out.
And it went really well to start with. But as soon as that one dropped off, it was game over.
The peanut gallery here giving Mike a hard time.
You know,
if you can't give Mike a hard time,
you're not operating.
You're not operating.
We got 2 rocks. See, that's what I started to do, and then I was like, no, that's wasting time. That's wasting time, but.
Now again, I said during your run, we're not looking to make a pretty aesthetic retaining wall here.
I mean, but when you build a retaining wall, if you lose one, it's still not the end of the world.
Exactly,
so.
Right? We call that rustic.
Yeah,
we call that rustic.
Backfill, so we'll just count that first as backfill.
Absolutely, absolutely. Mike, I'm going to have you step just a little this way, just. It's not that I don't trust Dirt Perfect, but
you got your back to it. That's a bad thing to do.
When Mike's in a machine, have your back to it. So Mike is stacking his long ways, kind of like you did a little bit.
And he's taking the time to push him to the wall. And that's what's going to save him from losing one.
You never know. That's why we do the competition.
Absolutely. Everything goes good until it doesn't.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, you've got a benefit, Chris. You came into this event here today with a 1-point lead in first place. So if you can afford to maybe not finish in the top in an event, this could be one, and you'll still be in the thick of it going into event 4.
Maybe so.
Now I don't know. Okay, Mike's setting one aside there. He's got something else he wants to do.
He's got a plan. He's looking for the right one.
Walk with me over here,
Let's
Chris.
walk.
We're gonna get a better view of what Mike's doing. I think we should be safe over here.
I hope.
So Mike's getting fancy. He's trying to drop a rock in between 2 other rocks. Go home, Mike. You're drunk on Pepsi.
See, now it's where it's going to get interesting, because see, we have that big gap.
He's got it, and that
we got the point of a rock sticking up. So trying to.
Yeah, he's got that awkward guy there.
But he's got him close enough. If he plays it right, he's going to shove it against that slope, and it's going to hold it right there in place. Like that. Yep, see? But now we got 2 more, and he's got a hole back there.
He does have a hole.
But there's enough dirt there to hold it, I think.
There is. It all depends on how he places it. Well, now he went with a big enough rock. Oh, see, but now that placed weird. Oh, he's going to fix it. He saw the same thing we saw. He was setting himself up for heartache there. He's got a time at 3:20. So had you guys were at a similar pace had you not had the event. We'll call it the event. The event. But now, it's interesting. How much room is on the back there? Could that slide off the back? I think he's got enough room, enough dirt. Oh, I want to see it. I want to see it between the 2 rocks.
It's got to be between them.
Between the 2 rocks. Mike's not going to like that technicality.
He's not going to be happy with you.
There we go. Time. 4:05 for Mike Simon.
Good job, Mike. Got them lined up, locked together.
Mr. Dirt Perfect.
Yes, ma'am.
405.
There's room for improvement. There's a little aesthetic conflict there at the end. It wasn't a conflict. I thought it looked better on top. Commissioner thought it looked better on the side. We got it fixed. It's all good. So that's a good time for everybody to shoot for.
I think that's great. Second person to go. you totally killed Chris there with time and structure.
Chris did not have gravity on his side. Gravity got the best of him. But it happens to all of us, so there's still one more competition. It could get me yet, too. So
for sure. All right, well, you did great. It was fun to watch. Nice job. And let's see what else everyone has in store for us.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
All right, thanks. All right, up next, Bill, who do we got?
So Mike, because of your score of 9 rocks, Mike has set the standard here with a time of 4:05. In the last competition, Andrew shook things up entirely when he got behind the controls of a CTL. What do you think is going to happen here,
He's
Chris?
pretty good on one, so I think it's going to be a challenge there.
Let's see what he does.
Let's see
Andrew,
what
are you
happens.
ready, sir?
Yes.
On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3, go! And we're going to get out of the way
Safety.
because Andrew, he is
Wide open.
He's wide open, but he is a little more calculating than I think people think he is.
Let's get over here and see what
Yep.
the first row is going to look like. See what our game plan is.
Well, see now he's not up against that wall,
Nope, he's starting off with a flat one, so that's
and
kind of what I thought. Now,
the
now it's going to be: is he going to go in order, or is he going to pick and choose the rocks that he wants to use? All right.
I see what
So,
he's doing.
In my eyes, you don't start with the round rock because then it's going to be difficult to lay
yeah,
on top.
yeah.
But clearly, I proved that wrong. So
Well, we'll see here how he stacks it, and
I think he's going with the come down the line here as fast as possible.
I think he is, and that is a strategy.
It is.
He's just playing it. He's not even. Oh, I see what he's doing.
Yeah.
He's gonna kind of like Mike did on that one row. He's
Kinda
gonna
lay
drop
him in
one
there,
between
yeah.
them. Look at that.
Yep, right in line.
Andrew, fast and furious.
But also with it standing up, it's going to get narrow.
Right now, I would have, if I were on the controls, I would have pushed that one in to help use that retaining wall approach. But I think Andrew's going to stack things.
It sounds good when you're standing over here looking at it, but when you're in there, it looks really good. You can't tell how far away you are.
And I feel like at this point, especially 3 competitors in,
He's got that advantage of watching.
well, but not only that, but like, again, my instinct is to tell him to push it in. I got to let it go.
Yep.
Let it go. For all of you Disney fans, that's a Frozen
He's doing
song.
good. Let's walk around from the other side.
Yeah, let's
and
see how he's
it's
doing
looking.
here. Andrew, if you didn't catch it at the beginning there, he's so confident in his abilities, he put a GoPro up right in kind of the danger zone. Oh, did we miss him move a rock? No, he's fine.
Everything. He's putting the third one on the second row.
Yeah. So again, would I turn that wall over to a customer? No. But we'll see how he places this next one. He's at 220.
It's looking pretty good.
It is looking pretty good. There we
As
go.
long as and see now we got that gap right there.
It's almost identical to what Mike did.
Yeah.
It's going to be very interesting to see what he does. And he fumbled, our first fumble of the day. And there's not a lot of dirt behind him there, so Andrew.
See, that last one's going to be tricky.
He has created a scenario for himself here.
I'm having deja vu. Everything went good to the last one for me.
Well,
right?
except I think this one here is going to fall to the front. When he tries to put weight on it on top, I think it's going to slide forward.
I don't know.
Unless he's got, no! We got to replace this one, Andrew. I hate doing it.
Yeah.
I hate making guys replace rocks.
Now is that one going to cause that to slide down when he drops it up there?
But actually, we'll see how much.
It may lock in there just perfect. What are we at?
And Andrew right now, if he gets it, he'll still set the new standard.
He's setting the standard. Look at there.
And it's freestanding, 329. First place, 329.
Good job.
Thank you.
Hey, Mike, come look at this. This looks better than yours.
Mr. Andrew Camarata, you did it again. Look at you. You are fantastic on those forks. You dropped one, but you caught it real quick again and placed it real nice. How do you think it went?
Thank you. That was fun. That went very well. The rocks did what I wanted them to do.
Yeah, you did a great job. That was really fun to watch. You showed up all the other guys, so you're going to be a tough one to beat. Good job.
Well, thank you.
All right, let's see who we have next.
Well, Mike, what do you think? Should I hit start now or should we wait until?
The champ has been a little bit on the struggle bus. We need to be fair with him, as like we are.
And I see here, Brian set his jacket to the side, but you've cleverly put a Dirt Perfect hat right on top of it.
It might be symbolic of the rankings.
Symbolic of the rankings,
yeah.
all right.
No harm, no foul.
Well, to speak of rankings, you're not on top, actually. That's Andrew Camarata, who just had a fantastic run, a 329. We've seen Brian Furness run a CTL, though, before. I think he's going to give him a run for his money. Should we see what's...
Let's see what he's got.
All right, I'm starting at 0, if we're being honest. All right, Brian! Let's go! 1, 2, 3, go! So, Mike, what was your strategy when you jumped into this?
So my strategy was, I went 2 big rocks on the outside, 2 small rocks in the middle, hoping everything would kind of fall its way in.
Yeah.
I think one of the main keys is to keep everything pushed against the dirt. It's a retaining wall, right?
Gotta use the retaining wall. Gotta use the retaining wall.
Now, one thing I would have done different is the one fork is stationary, one move, so I would have started on the outside so you got room to open that fork to get those out.
The other interesting thing there, he's stacking those high. I've seen these rocks enough to know, I don't know that there's 4 that can meet that level of height.
That's what I stood over there and eyeballed for a good long time.
Let's spin around him here, get a better idea. So Mike, a big part of this challenge is those Blue Diamond nursery forks. You've got a set of some Blue Diamond forks at home. How do you think these perform?
I absolutely love the ones we got. They were some of the smoothest. We got the power sliding forks. They were a game changer, absolutely awesome. I think, and you can correct me if we're wrong, we're not actually using these for their 100% intended purpose, but they're holding up awesome.
Exactly, yeah. These would be more likely seen in a nursery. That's why they're called nursery forks. I don't want to talk too much about this, so he fumbled it. That's another fumble.
Look at that tight stack he's got.
It's a tight stack, and he's at 122 right now.
Come on, baby, come on. Them last 3 rocks is where everything's made or lost.
Yeah, and he's gonna run into some interesting stuff here based on, see, now he's tinkering. I would go back to the pile and maybe hope for a little luck.
Maybe he's not gonna fall my one.
I'm gonna have to stop him on that one. He's gotta replace that one. There's part of me that wants to see how this plays out. There might be a method to his madness, but I do want to see. Brian, I want to see that one a little out.
Oh, that was a nice snap.
Look at that move. That was a baller move.
Nice.
That is an in it to win it move. He's got 3 more rocks to place at 233.
He's on a run. He's on a run.
Wisely, he's going to go fix that one. Well, now he's put himself in an interesting spot there again.
So this rock has to touch. No, he's got 2 left, so he can get it. He's got a path to success.
And he's picked the right rock to do it with.
Yeah. I'm kind of rooting for him at this point.
Well, well, let's see what he's going to do here. Depending on how he places this last rock, I'm going to allow that. Defending champion Brian Furness.
Now he comes to play.
Where are we at?
Brian Furness takes over first place with a time of 3:20.
Woo! Oh, I needed that one.
Way to come back, bud.
Brian, that was impressive. You struggled with that first rock on the second layer, but you handled that. You got it done. What do you have to say?
I mean, ultimately, it just comes back to what we keep saying. It's the luck of the way they fall, the way they handle on the forks. And I thought for sure that one was going to cause me a big problem, but forks magically lined up. I pulled off. It came together. I'm okay with it.
it came together nicely. Even the commission made you readjust the one, and you just handled it like a boss, like a champion.
You know, it's one of those things where there was readjustment for me and readjustment for Mike. So we may have to talk to the commissioner about a little favoritism going on here.
You did wonderful. Congratulations. That was awesome. Oh, wow. He's talking smack. All right. Great job. Let's see what everyone else has. That's going to be really tough to beat.
Thanks.
All right. Here up next is Brandon.
So Brian, I said to people on the way over here, I said, I've seen enough of you and Andrew that this competition could come down to the two of you at the controls of a CTL, and that's playing out here right now. How did you think that went?
So the run was really solid. The biggest thing is none of these boulders are really good stacking boulders, and so there's just an element of luck to it, and we're going to see how everyone else does on the luck side. So far we've seen Chris. The luck did not play into his run, and that's all it was just no luck. So.
Well, you had all the luck today, and you've set the pace here. You've got the lead time, but we're going to see what Mr. Brandon Shannon of Dirt, Grain, and Steel can do. Brandon, on the count of three, we're going to go. 1, 2, and 3. We almost just had our first false start in National Equipment League history. I had just as I pressed the button, he was moving. He's anxious.
He's not wasting any time.
So your strategy, was there strategy, or you feel a little more just like luck?
So there was a little bit of strategy in the base section. I didn't want to use the flatter stones. You know, you would think you would want the flatter rocks because it makes a nice base. The problem is with the height of the stack we're going, you don't have the friction to hold the top layers in place. And so I really wanted to get some of the more rugged rocks down on the bottom so that they'd really wedge themselves in there, and that seemed to hold true. And it looks like Brandon's kind of going with the same strategy.
He's doing it. No one has really done it yet, but it's kind of just like we're going to get the rocks there.
Yep.
And then I'm going to worry about precise placement later. And there might be a strength to that. He's at a minute right now, or just about a minute. And he's got 3 of the rocks in place.
And I will say, you've seen all the competitors do it. It's very easy to get in your head about that fork and which way your finger needs to go on the control.
Yeah. We did allow competitors to switch the flow on the hydraulics so that the thumb wheel on the right joystick there was controlling the nursery forks the way they wanted, and that's worked out well so far. He's doing exactly what we thought he might. He got the 4 there, and now he's
working on getting them wedged in, but you can see how that third rock he just tucked in there, he doesn't have a good ledge to keep the next layer in, and my fear is when he goes to stack the third layer, that second layer is going to want to spread on him.
Yeah, I don't think he's using the wall as much as he could be.
And that is a key, using that wall to back those rocks, like right here. He's got one tipping off the back, that's going to cause him some grief. The forks don't have a ton of power. Oh, he grabbed it.
I really think what he's got to do is he's got to move that bottom rock in.
He does. Those rocks need to push back so that he's got something to lean on.
Well, this ain't going so well. There we go. Oh, maybe I'm not as good an operator as I thought it was.
Yes, this is where the frustration mounts. There he goes. If he can get that all the way tucked against that wall, it's just not one to stay for.
He almost had luck go his way there. And if you've ever worked with or managed boulders, you know that they move where they want to move. I think this is a wise strategy. He saw a better spot for it. He's going to put that one there, and we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if it's going to stay, because now doing the freestanding is going to be difficult when you're going with the verticality that we've got today. It's just really hard to not have something backing those stones so they don't, it's either going to shuffle forward or backwards if he taps it.
He's got some flat rocks now, and even with that kind of bulbous, awkward one, and see,
and there it goes.
There it goes. Brian, I just used the word bulbous.
That was a nice word.
See, and now I think he might be onto something. Well,
this one's This is the trouble rock. Everyone's got their trouble rock, and this one's going to be his. It just does not want to stay up there.
Nope. I think had he taken a moment early in his run, used the tips of the forks to push the rocks back towards the soil wall.
Absolutely.
And I'm not going to let that stand, but I want to see what he does next.
I am curious.
I'm going to you got to let a little bit of things play out here. I try to be, I don't want, this isn't the NFL. I don't want people saying referees are throwing games.
With the exception of that one rock that keeps giving him trouble, this has been a pretty good run. But unfortunately, that one rock is just not going to participate for him, and he's going to have to pull it back out of there for a third time. Now the question is, how much of his stack currently is pulling that rock out going to mess with?
See, he's sliding too far back.
Yep, that base layer should have been right up against that bank to really prevent that from happening.
He's not going to like it, but I'm going to direct him. I want to see this one up, that one down.
That was a nice play.
See, and that's why I didn't have him adjust that one the first time.
Yeah.
Is that I thought he might be hoping that the forces of physics and big old boulders would kind of help him out a little bit, but
sure.
We're at 524 here.
Fortunately, this stack is just not wanting to participate for him. And that flat rock, I think, is going to give him some grief.
See, there he just got lucky, though. And now if he could get that other rock, yep.
There.
Well.
So we don't really have the 4, 3, 2, 1 look to it. We'll see if Bill lets him get away with it. But we really have a 4, 3, and almost 3 look to it.
.607, I'm gonna give it to him.
He gave it to him.
I'm gonna give it to him, and I'm gonna tell you why. Looking at it from the front, from our spot at the side, it looked wonky, and it is a little wonky. We're not turning this retaining wall over to any home buyers, but to me, that meets the 4, 3, 2, 1.
That looks like
the top rock is touching 2.
You know what? It's a Friday job.
That's a Friday job, and maybe you had a wet lunch.
That's
Jess,
right.
what does Brandon have to say?
Mr. Brandon, what do you think there?
Nerves got me like usual. You know, I just kind of panicked right out of the gate and went too crazy and wasn't paying attention to what shapes my rocks were. And so it is what it is. It still was fun. I had fun doing it, you know. But usually you're not timed in real life. So that kind of puts that in the back of your head the whole time. You're trying to do as fast as you can and things happen, you know.
Well, you're not timed like that, right? And it was fun to watch. You did a great job. You completed the task. You're not last, so we've got that going. It works.
Yeah, it works.
And you had fun.
Yeah, it'll stop a wave from splashing into your bank of your river or your lake or whatever. So, yeah, it looks natural. And nature's chaos, and that's what they like to see when you do work like that. So.
No, you did a good job. There was also one point there that you had to move one of the blocks, and you did it so nicely and gentle. Yeah. You did a nice job. So.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Good job. All right, here we go. Last one up for this event. Let's see what she can do.
Well, Brandon, you gave her heck there. You had a little bit of inertia, physics from the boulders not working in your favor. Yeah. How did it feel to you now that you've had a minute or two to think about it?
Well, it's just tough because of the odd shapes.
Yeah.
And you know, they're slick finish. They're pretty. It's almost like stacking glass marbles. You know, they just kind of slide past each other, and it's one of them deals. I don't have much experience with it, so I wish her luck, and it's fun.
You look good doing it, and these Georgia boulders didn't fall quite the way Brandon wanted them to. But let's see how they work for our rock star from Seattle, Brenna Moore. Brenna, are you ready?
Yeah.
On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3, and go. So what was your strategy when you dove into this? What were you thinking were you picking certain rocks, or were you just kind of tossing stuff up and then maneuvering them? What was your strategy?
My strategy was just go for it and just see what happens. You know, Chris and I talked about it a little bit before we got started, and he said that he had a plan all figured out, and he said that his plan fell through, so his kind of suggestion was just wing it and see what happens.
See, now Brenna did exactly what I would do there. A good strong push of that boulder right into the wall.
Yeah.
Which is going to give her a good base to build from. Walk with me over here, Brandon.
And that's what I should have probably did, but I was trying to get more of a freestanding rock structure than actually kind of let it lay against the pile. That's what I was kind of after.
Brandon, you're one of our sponsors here this week is your friends from Harding's Heavy Equipment. What do you have to say about those guys? They treat you well?
Oh, the guys are excellent. Whenever I need anything, it doesn't matter, a rental, a piece of equipment, a part, they go out of their way to get it for me. You know, they stop at our place two days a week to see if we need anything, you know, and they're like having your best friends in the industry.
That's the way to do it. That's what the construction industry is built on, those kind of relationships.
Exactly. Yeah, your net worth is your net worth. You know, your network's your net worth. So if you don't have a good net worth, you don't have a good net worth. You know, that's the way I look at it.
Speaking of networks, I'm starting to get a little curious how Brenna is going to network these boulders together. She's got her first base rock sticking up a little high off the side there.
Yeah. I think she's gonna do all right as long as she just gets them balanced out right. And it's a game of luck too.
Yeah.
You know? And I will say, when you get so high with that loader, your visibility is drastically cut. You know?
No, and Brenna's 5'2".
Yeah.
So you're not
short.
5'2". I guess you're about 6'4", 6'5".
Yeah.
She's got a disadvantage where I think that boom and that attachment gets up high enough.
Yep.
Seeing that third and fourth row might be tough.
Yeah.
Coming in here to place the fourth and final boulder on the bottom tier.
She's got it looking really good. It's promising.
It is promising, and you know, I was questioning I think this is a strategy, having two larger boulders on the outer row.
She's gonna make a pyramid out of it.
She's gonna make a pyramid out of it, and that could work. I see what she did there.
And there's a million different ways to do this, you know, and it's, I'm sure if I sat out here long enough, I could stack them a million different ways.
But now I think, see, there's some spatial awareness she doesn't have here, because I actually think she's in a good spot to go get more boulders and stack.
Yeah.
She just burned about 10 minutes tucking 10 seconds tucking things in that maybe she didn't need to.
But we also know from the seat it looks totally different.
It does. Everything looks totally different from the seat.
Like my block stacking yesterday, you know, that bottom block looked level. But by the time you got to the fourth, you know, it was a hair off and they just lost the whole stack.
Yep.
So it always looks different from the seat.
Yep. She's hoping that thing slides off, but what we've got here is those forks aren't as slippery as they were at the beginning of the day, at the beginning of the competition. They've got a little more wear and tear on them. Yeah. I think she was hoping that boulder would have neatly slid off the forks. It wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
She's at 4:15 now, which is she's not going to be challenging the top of the leaderboard here in this event today.
Another strategy I had, and it wouldn't work out, was I was going to try to move 2 rocks at a time. But there's such a long rock that you're kind of limited on doing that. You know? If I wasn't timed, I would probably try it, and I'd probably, in a normal world application, I'd probably pull it off. But I was afraid it was going to slow me down in this case.
And she's doing really well here. She's, I can picture how she's gonna drop that rock right into that spot. And then she'll be on to her final three. Typically those final three have been going a little quicker than rows 1 and 2. She got lucky there.
Yeah.
That thing almost slid out. It's gonna look from the front here. I think Brenna's building a pretty good looking wall.
Yeah, it looks nice and tight.
Looking at the angle here, that could go 1 of 2 ways, but she did herself a favor going in just a little deeper there.
Yeah, that was a good solid hit.
See here, this is where I can't get involved. If I were, I would tell her to let it go, and she's gonna. Smart choice, Brenna. She's at a time of 6:14 now.
And it's a question of how hard you whip around with the CTL. Do you really give it balls to the wall, or do you finesse it?
Well, because you whip around with it, you
And
risk
they'll
that
slide right
boulder
off. Yeah.
flying right off. Now she risks here, so Chris, Let's Dig 18 has a score of 9 rocks. She's 18 seconds here from the time limit. If she places this, she'll be tied with Chris at 9 rocks. And she places it. I'm gonna count that. She's gonna fall just short. Time.
She had a good solid run. I will give her that. She did good.
Brenna, you did great there. You unfortunately timed out, but you did get 9. So you are tied with Mr. Let's Dig 18. Tell us, how do you think you did?
I think I did pretty good. Operator's biggest weakness is what they can't see, and I'm a little bit shorter, so it's hard for me to see. So sometimes I have to improvise, and to do that safely, sometimes it takes a little bit extra time. But I mean, I think it looks pretty cool. So, and I've never done this before, so first time.
No, you did great. And right, take the extra time, make sure you're doing it safely, and you did a great job. And I think it also looks great. So job well done, nicely. That wraps up event 3 here. We'll take it back to Bill to see how the standings are at the end of the event.
Well, that was an exciting event 3, Jess. I think people had a lot of fun. What was the kind of feedback you were getting as people got out of the machine?
It was a lot of great energy, and it was all about what rock they picked first, or boulder, and the placement, and they had a good time. Sometimes it was how it fell and the positioning, but it shook up the standings a little bit. It was a success.
It threw things entirely upside down. There's not Vegas betting odds yet on the National Equipment League, but if there were, I think Bryan Furness and Andrew Camarata would have been picked to come out on top. And that's exactly what happened. And to your point, that combined with Let's Dig 18 expiring on time and only being able to count the 9 rocks that he had up, that flipped these standings upside down. And as we go into our 4th and final event, which we'll share with you next time, the standings are as such. In first place, Dirt Perfect with 14 points. In second place, Andrew Camarata with 13. In third place, Let's Dig 18 with 12.5. That is 3 people within 1.5 points of each other going into the final event. But don't call it a comeback. Returning champion Bryan Furness made up big ground at the end of this competition here, gaining 6 points and putting him in contention with 11. In 5th place, we have Brandon Shannon, and in 6th place, Brenna Moore with 6 points. Join us next time as we see With this crowded field on top again, who goes home with the National Equipment League Championship? From Carnesville, Georgia, thank you for joining us. Have a great day.